everyone. I'm glad you're here today for Preschool Parade. And today we're talking about all things new. I bet you know why we're talking about all things new. It's because, what, Miss Sylvie? It's almost
A
new.
new year! Yay!
So we're all sparkly and things today because we're almost going to say Happy New Year very soon. So my name is Miss Heidi, and I work at the Miller branch of the Howard County Library System.
And I'm Miss Sylvia, also work at the Miller branch of the Howard County Library System.
And we're going to start out with a New Year's Day song. So hopefully you'll know it. And we did have the words attached. These are from the Preschool Early Childhood Academy.com. And so it's on the paper. Hopefully that was attached when you signed up. But this one goes to Jingle Bells. So here we go. New Year's Day comes but once a year. On New Year's Eve, we celebrate and ring it in with cheer.
One more time. New Year's Day comes but once a year. On New Year's Eve, we celebrate and ring it in with cheer.
Yay!
Hey!
Day! All right. So, because we celebrate New Year's Day, the first day of January, but on New Year's Eve, we really have a celebration and we say Happy New Year to everyone. But did you know that every month is a new year? So every month is a new year. This is a nice book by Marilyn Singer and Susan L. Roth. Look at those pictures. Aren't they beautiful? So someone somewhere in the world is celebrating a new year every month of the year. So let me just show you some of these beautiful pictures. Here in December at the end, this would be us. There's Times Square. You can see the ball drop. Sometimes we all watch that on our TV. And there's a nice poem for Midnight Ball Drop on New Year's Eve. And there's one for January. And then we get to February, where it's Dragon Dance for the Lunar New Year. Look at that. So every month, if you want to find out what New Years are celebrated on every month of the next year, get this book out. Every month is a new year.
I love that. I love those illustrations. They're so
beautiful.
Yeah. Something else that happens in the new year is people make something called resolutions, or it's a goal that they set of something they want to learn how to do or be better at. And that made me think of this book, which is called I Can Do It Myself by Valerie Fisher. And it's all about things that you, as a big kid, will start learning how to do for yourself. So maybe you may want to learn how to write some letters so that you can start writing your name, right? Or maybe you want to learn how to, this is a big one, start learning how to tie your shoes. That is definitely something big kids learn how to do.
And that is hard too, Miss Sylvia.
Very tricky. It takes a lot of practice, but you'll be able to do it eventually. And then maybe you just want to practice saying please and thank you more. Work on your manners. Those are all some good goals you could have for the new year. So that again comes from the book, I Can Do It Myself by Valerie Fisher.
That is always great, Miss Sylvia, to have new goals to try to do in the new year. I like that. Yes. Well, talking about new, which we are today, I found this book, Old Hat, New Hat by Stan and Jan Berenstain. He doesn't know what hat to wear. So we're going to have some fun thinking what hat can go on the bear's head. Should it be his old hat? What do you think?
Nah.
Maybe a newer hat? I don't know. There's so many hats he can choose from. What about this one?
Oh, wow, that hat's really tall.
Maybe that's too tall, I think.
Maybe.
Okay, let's see about this one.
What? That is so silly. Look at that.
Yeah, it even has a bird on it and a faucet. Too silly. Too silly. Oh, what about this one?
Oh, it's very fancy.
Very fancy hat. Maybe too fancy though, Miss Sylvia. So boys and girls, when you read that book, you have to decide what hat is best on the bear. And speaking of new hats, Miss Sylvia, I have a hat. My little hat says Happy New Year. I hope you can see that on there. And I think it's time for me to put on a fancy hat too. And I don't think it's too fancy to have on for the new year. Look at that. I got all kinds of stars. And don't you have one too, Miss Sylvia?
I do. I have a tiara, a New Year's tiara that says Happy New Year on it. And I'm going to put mine on too. It's nice and colorful. So I'm ready as well.
I love that. And I think we have another New Year's song to sing.
Yes, we do. So this song's called Cheer the Year. It's to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And I will sing a verse and then Miss Heidi will sing a verse. So here we go. Cheer, cheer, cheer the year. A new one's just begun. Celebrate with all your friends. Let's go have some fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun, boys and girls. So mine is clap. So get your clapping hands ready. Here we go. Clap, clap, clap your hands. A brand new year is here. Learning, laughing, singing, laughing through another year. Yay! So many things you can do in the new year, right, Miss Sylvia?
That's right. And in the new year, a lot of things that are really important, but most importantly is just making sure that you believe in yourself. That's something a lot of people work on in the new year. Sometimes things can be a little challenging, but we still believe in ourselves. So this book is called I Believe I Can by Byers. And it is all about different things that are important about you and make you special. And one of the things I wanted to show that I enjoyed when I looked at this book was here. Just knowing that you are important and worthy, and because you're you and no one else is like you, and that there's value to you in everything that you do. So I thought that was important.
That is beautiful, Miss Sylvia. And I have the same book, and this talks about being a hero. I am brave. Face my fears despite my fright, because I know I'm not alone. And in the end, I'll be all right. So sometimes you are afraid, but you can face those fears. And then we have to remember that your presence matters in this world. I know I can do anything. Look at those kids. If only I believe I can. Woohoo! So boys and girls, you have to remember, I believe I can in this new year. That's by Byers. We have another book.
We do.
About New Year's.
New Year's. So this one's all about the new year and things that you can do. This is a fun one with our friend Spot. It's called Happy New Year, Spot by Eric Hill. And here on the front, he has a noisemaker. So he's going to blow to celebrate the new year. And he has on, look too, he has on his fancy hat as well.
Yay!
Yes. So I was going to show something that I created. Do we want me to show it now?
Yes.
So since Spot has his noisemaker on the front, he's blowing his, but I made a shaker that is really simple to make that you can create to help celebrate the new year. I started with just a plastic cup. And in my plastic cup, I put a little bit of rice. You can hear it making the sound. You see
like it? Yes.
So just a little bit, not too much. And then I took a paper towel, put it over the top, and had a rubber band. And I just carefully, you may need a grown-up's help for this, covered the top of it with the paper towel, and then I have a shaker.
Wow, Miss Sylvia, that's wonderful. Fast craft you can make.
Yes.
To make some noise, boys and girls, on New Year's Eve. Well, another thing that Spot and his friends did on his party in this book was make some New Year's wishes. So they made some star shaped and made some wishes for the new year. And so I thought, why don't I make some wishes for the new year? So I made some stars too. And they're easy to make, but you also might need a grown-up's help. And then you just cut them out. And in this first one, I wrote, health. I don't want anyone to keep getting sick anymore. So I want everyone to have health in this new year. And then I also wrote, I got an idea from one of Miss Sylvia's books, saying thank you more. And I'm older, so I know how to write, and I can write thank you notes, but saying it is so good too. And sometimes things are happening too quick and we forget. And it's always so wonderful to have that, to say thank you. So make some stars too, some wishing stars for the new year.
Yes.
I think, boys and girls, are you ready, Miss Sylvia? Are we ready to count down into the new year?
Yay.
We're going to count backwards from 10, and then we might have a surprise too. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Who's ready? Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Yay!
So much fun. And we have some, hopefully this will work, some surprise bubbles coming your way for the new year.
There we go. Yay!
I hope they're coming at the camera, and try to catch them, boys and girls.
Catch them. They're coming. I see them, Miss
I
Heidi.
really miss seeing you all for the new year.
Yeah.
And we have one more song for you. We'd like you to get, if you have a noisemaker, or if you made a little noisemaker, or just use your clapping hands. I have a little bell here. Miss Sylvia has her shaker.
Yeah.
And we have a song called A Brand New Year. It goes to the tune of the Muffin Man. Were you going to start, Miss Sylvia?
I am. Are we ready? Now we have a brand new year, a brand new year, a brand new year. Now we have a brand new year. It's 2021.
Yay! 2021 is coming.
2021. Yep.
Now we have a brand new year, a brand new year, a brand new year. Now we have a brand new year. It's 2021. Yay!
Yay!
2020 will be over, boys and girls. 2021 will be here. So we really wish you the very, very best in this new year. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.